All right, hello. We are back. We are back. Wait a goddamn moment. Where are my headphones? One moment. All right. We are back again. So we're gonna continue where we left off with our Breath of the Wild playthrough. Thank you for coming. If you have, it is 11:30 at night, which means we have about 30 minutes again to play as usual because I have work tomorrow. It's gonna be a busy day. It's Obon right now in Japan, which means I got a lot of customers we got to take care of every day for the next week. It's going to be really busy. Obon in Japan is basically like a Mexican Halloween where family members get together to remember people that passed away in their family. Get together, have a good meal together, remember the good times. And, my job helps people enjoy that a little bit more. Anyways, So again, we're going to be getting right into it, exploring where we left off. Again, going the path untraveled. Again, traveling all randomly, first time playthrough, and now we're going back and seeing what we missed. Even though we haven't done any goddamn missions, basically, we've only beaten one freaking boss. We've only beaten one boss. Even though I've been playing this game for so goddamn long now. Just the game's just good to get lost in. Anyways, where did we leave off? Right here, and I got my ass handed to me by the horse riders. So we're going to try to get through here again, trying to find some more shrines, seeing where we can go. All right, let's get to it. I really want to go to these islands. Nah. There's got to be stuff here. We're going to go explore these islands. Yeah, let's do that. And as we're playing, we're going to be, talking about what's going on around in the world around us. Oh, damn. This is a big deer. Holy shit. Oh, my God. I hate these freaking arrows. I want to eat those deers. Oh, God. Yeah, as I usually... God damn, I've got to make more food. Yeah, and as we play the game, we're going to be talking about what's happening in the world around us. Yesterday or a day ago, is that a bear? What the hell is that? It's an Inoshishi. Okay. Oh yeah, that's where the is that? What the hell? I don't know. I don't know. Um. Yeah. Wait, what the hell? Can I blow this up? So many things. Nope. God, I hate ducking. Yeah, so I believe yesterday I talked about, Joe Rogan and how, he's being called out by other comedians and his influence in the podcast world, in the comedy world. He's being called out by other comedians. And the person that I mentioned, I think I messed up his name yesterday, but we're going to check it out today, is Mark Maron, another comedian. I used to watch him a long time ago, but again, I'm not really familiar with his work. Again, I've been lost for the last, 20 years. I have not been really paying attention to things in America. And, ooh. Is that the... Yeah, that was that stuff. Nah. So we're gonna check out his video. Again, he's much smarter than me, so he'll put the words into the better place in the sentences. And thank you for the video by American Redacted that put this video compilation together about Joe Rogan and Mark Maron and the comments they've been making recently. It just makes things much smoother. And, American Redacted obviously is working harder than I am, but I want to just spread the word and, give my thoughts on the stuff that's been happening. God, I hate you, Link. Okay. But before we get to that, maybe I'll say it in the end of the video, but yeah. Again, some other just heavier things real quick in the beginning. Again, keep on the political stuff of what's going on. I don't know much more you can do, but just trying to vote for the people out that are supporting this crap. Get out there and support the people that you can to make America better, to get those people that are supporting Israel out. Again, it's already most likely too late. Especially for a lot of people, innocent people that were in Gaza, the children and stuff like that. Netanyahu is basically again now announced he's going to full takeover of Gaza. Again, of course, he was lying the whole time. They've been lying about everything. Again, Rafah, like basically every single place that they said they weren't going to invade, they have invaded, and now they're going to take over everything. That's what the original plan was from the beginning. Again, they always just wanted to make a bigger Israel. That's it. That's all it was. It's not that goddamn difficult. They just want to make a bigger Israel. Huh. All right. And just make themselves, a bigger player on the world stage. That's it. That's all it is. It's just money, money, money. Power, power, power. And the Palestinians were just a stepping stone for them. All the lives. Just try to get the politicians out. The ones that are doing it. That's all we can really do. All right. So we're going to get to this video of Mark Maron talking about Joe Rogan's influence on the comedy scene, but also American politics in general, and we'll just, ramble through it. All right, let's go.
The thing with Joe...
All right.
The thing with Joe...
Yeah.
...is I don't know that we have a lot to talk about because of my, my idea of what he's done to comedy.
Sure.
And I don't think it's great. I think that it's tribalized, and I think that, he's created a sort of army of people that think they know comedy, but they only know a specific thing, and what they think is good is not necessarily good. It may be what they're like.
So it seems that Mark Maron has reignited his decades-long beef with Joe Rogan and his group of comedic assassins, as he just called them out on 2 separate podcasts in the span of a week. And Mark Maron's not just going after these guys because he doesn't like them. As he puts it, he has reasonable criticism for them.
It's reasonable criticism.
Reasonable criticism.
Yeah.
Like in his most recent special, Panicked, Mark actually spends a good portion of time calling out the anti-woke comedy scene that Rogan's forged in Austin, criticizing them for normalizing slurs, punching down at marginalized groups, and overall platforming dangerous ideas.
Pterodactyl arms? You supposed to put that nigga on the grill. He ain't even supposed to live.
And if you haven't seen it already,
the hell was that
I highly
episode?
recommend you go watch that entire special. But to give you an idea of what he talks about in that special, here's him poking fun at the idea of Theo Von having Adolf Hitler on his podcast, and what exactly that would sound like.
I think if Hitler were alive today, he'd probably appear on Theo Von's podcast. And Theo would be like, see, y'all did a lot of meth, right? I mean, all the Nazis were all f***ed up on meth, right, Hitler? That shit'll make you crazy, dog. I did some meth once. I was up for 3 days, and then I ate a live bird. No shit, Hitler, a live bird, bro. Hey, Hitler, you probably didn't even hate the Jews. That was just the meth making you crazy, dog.
So now he's on a podcast press tour for that new special, and he's sent...
One moment, goddammit. Yeah, so again, if you don't know, he's basically making fun of podcasters that are basically inviting... Again, they were comedians that eventually started doing podcasts, but then they started really dipping their toes into political commentary. Again, not like me, I'm just an asshole basically talking about stuff on political stuff too, for the most part, because that's the new... Oh, look at that. What the hell? I couldn't get it. That's interesting. I've never seen that before. Again, it's just stuff that's happening around us, and a lot of stuff that's happening around us that's affecting my family, my kids, the world around is all political. It's always political. Everything's political, and we should know about it. That's why I'm talking about it. But I'm not a genius. I'm not smart. But a lot of the stuff is just basic stuff, man. Just empathy. It's not that deep. It's not that difficult. Just have some goddamn empathy. Oh, I can use a sledgehammer. One moment, please. Hell yeah. That's freaking awesome. Get over there. Too close. Yeah, so these political commentators. So again, real quick though, that's Theo Von right here. Andrew Schultz, the Egg, Joe Rogan. What the hell is his name? Tony Hinchcliffe, I believe. again, all these people basically invited like Trump or Trump's what's it called, like political staff on their podcasts or shows or whatever. They had some kind of interview with them and basically cleaned up their image. And then whenever people start calling them out for stuff, they just like, oh, it's just us being, just trying to have a conversation. It's just trying to have a conversation when they are not prepared for the stuff that they're talking about, like at all. Again, I'm not either, but that's why I wouldn't talk to these people. So for example, Theo Vaughn had Trump on. Ooh, the Red Moon's coming out. Joe Rogan had Theo Vaughn. And again, I think JD Vance also. JD Vance also went on Andrew Schultz's podcast. I can't remember exactly, but stuff like that. And then the big one that happened recently was Netanyahu, the war criminal, went on these other comedy whatever, I don't know, just like kind of a young guy podcast, even though they're like 35 years old. The Nelk Boys, this other podcast that a lot of younger guys watch. Netanyahu went on their podcast, and the host didn't do a good job at all on calling him out of what he's doing on this earth, which is committing a genocide and constantly lying about what he's doing and just being a complete psychopath. Even though it didn't really work, because Netanyahu is so hated around the world that it actually destroyed their image. Yeah, so again, he's just calling them out, like how they're just going into things that they shouldn't be going into.
Shots left and right at the entire Rogan sphere. Like in this recent Bad Friends episode, he goes at Rogan in a pretty hilarious and major way, roasting him for leading an army of enlightened meatheads and predicting that they'll run out of material pretty quickly, since the majority of jokes that they tell are pretty surface-level jabs at marginalized groups that they've completely beaten into the ground. Like, if you know anything about this Rogan era of comedy, you'd know that they do this quite frequently. Like, to this day, they're probably still making COVID-19 jokes. And Mark Maron considers this shtick to be hack.
But yeah, me and who else? Rogan. Okay.
Who's that? Who's that?
Joe Rogan.
Joseph Rogan?
Yeah, he's out of Texas.
Oh, Texas. Got it.
Yeah.
I got it. Got it.
Yeah. You love Austin, don't you?
He's running half the planet out of Texas.
Yeah.
He's got a tight hold on the enlightened meathead.
Dude, Maron's disdain.
It's not disdain. It's reasonable criticism.
Okay, stop. Again, see, here's the thing, though. Yeah, again, they're all, making jokes and stuff like that. But that's the thing. When anybody points out, like, personally for me, again, I don't know Joe Rogan. I don't know. But, yeah, from what it seems the people around him that he's very kind. And people that meet him for the first time, they have a very good impression of him. He's very kind to people. Oh, my God. Really? Oh, God. No. Holy balls. Oh, my God. Again, he seems like a nice guy, but see, that's the thing, as I've said before, it's not just about being a nice person to the immediate people around you and overall what you say. It's about, can you be trusted to live a good life around, like, that'll will you make good decisions that won't destroy freaking society? Jesus Christ, just being selfish and stuff like that. So again, for the most part around him, the people around him, he's very, very kind to the people around him, but then he ends up not doing research or anything about the decisions that he's going to be making, the people that he supports politically and stuff. When somebody like him has so much They like to say that they don't have, they're just idiots talking online, but people listen to them. There's public responsibility. Jesus. Where am I? Okay, so this island is big. Okay, this island is big. This area is big. Yeah. So but then if you criticize him at all, like, people say you hate him and all this type of stuff, but it's like, like, why does it always have to be like 100% one way or the other? Like, you're just calling him out like you don't agree with his stuff, okay, what he's doing, and if you do hate him, fine, that's fine. Personally, for me, I'm getting, basically, I hate them now, personally for myself, because they've just done so much damage to, honestly, this freaking planet, with all their stupid ass decisions that they keep making. Yeah, I do hold them accountable for some of the stuff that they did, you know, also the people that ended up, you know, listening to them. Again, I used to watch them and listen to them, but at a certain point, I started realizing, okay, they're kind of like talking about just crazy ass shit and like constantly jumping back and forth. Joe Rogan constantly jumps back and forth between people. And one of the ones that really, really like, I was like pissed me off. This was like 2-3 years ago during the Corona out. Jesus Christ, all the way over here. God damn. Was that he invited that scientist that basically created the Corona vaccine. And the guy tried to talk Joe Rogan into, we got to tell people to take the vaccine. And then basically Joe Rogan, I don't know, talked to a different person and then completely flipped his opinion. That other scientist that created the Corona vaccine at the time was his friend, supposedly. And then because he had a bunch of psychopaths on that basically discouraged people from taking the vaccine or putting doubt into it. Shut up. You're getting a hammer to the face. Bat. Seriously? This whole place is stormy weather? I gotta get out of here, man. This is ridiculous. I don't want to go all the way here, man. But, like, the storm is covering the whole land. Anyways, the scientists ended up giving the vaccine away for free, basically, or like he gave away the patent. So he designed a Corona vaccine that he ended up like giving the patent away to, or just like making it like public. So if the hospitals just want to this produce it and give it away, they can. And then people still attacked him, like he was trying to like again turn people gay or trans or whatever crazy crap that they say was in the vaccine. And Joe Rogan was a part of that. He didn't defend him, even though he just had him on like not too long ago. Yeah. So yeah, from my point of view, it's just like these people, like you. That's the thing. Like you don't have to have everybody like you, but just try to be responsible, and then just even if you don't like what people are saying, just do it because it's the right thing to do. But a lot of times these people, as I said in a different video, they just, when they get slighted, when they get insulted, they just, ego can't let them back down and just let them take their goddamn medicine. Shut the fuck up, you're an asshole for doing what you've done. Now, do you want to be a better person? Then stop being a goddamn asshole and just try to see what you can do to fix the problem, help fix it. And then maybe people won't hate you so much and make fun of you so goddamn much. If you actually make an effort to improve yourself.
Yeah. When was the last time you spoke with him?
I don't know. That's a good question. I guess it would have been at the store. I never talked to him in Austin. I don't go into the club. I don't really think I'm on his radar. So
Something tells me you are.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, something.
Yeah,
me
something
too.
tells me
Me
you
too.
are.
I don't. You know, it's weird that you get lumped into a certain thing. And maybe it's my assumption that you know his army of you know healthy fellas.
Is that their title? Army of Healthy Fellas is so good.
You know, you just got to gotta stay and keep the machine.
The machine's got to be good.
Yeah.
That's a shot at Bert. Go ahead.
What do you think the,
They're all like
the
fitness
Austin
freaks.
shelf life is going to be?
Well,
Well, I
that's a-
don't know. Like, I think that it's so effectively tribalized at this point. It really comes down to material.
Interesting.
I mean, at what point? It's like whatever they represented in terms of policy. And
Sure.
it's not a stretch. It's like they won. Trans people are frightened. They have no ability to get health care anymore, and they're afraid of being alive and have no freedom left. So that's done.
Jesus,
when do you
man.
stop with the jokes?
when do you-
And like immigrants, okay, well they're being ripped away from their homes, and they're all terrified, and okay, so that's done. When do you stop with the jokes?
Right.
I mean, it's one thing to pick on the vulnerable and the marginalized, but I mean, they're down. I mean, like, why do you got to keep hitting them unless you're a hack? Now there's a question.
Mark.
He comes in swinging.
Yeah.
Another issue that Mark has with Joe Rogan was one that Mark's had a problem with since the early 90s, which is that comedy is supposed to be for the quote-unquote sensitive weirdos, not necessarily for the high school locker room bullies that Joe Rogan's ushered in. And even though I don't fully agree with this stance, since to me, if you're funny, you're funny, it is a stance that I've seen other comics take. Like when Tim Dillon was calling out Brendan Schaub right after he released his insult of a comedy special, Bring Up Bobby.
When I watch Brendan do that, it's like I go, here's a big, tough guy who I should just see in a Ferrari, and he should be able to rip people's faces off with his catcher mid-hands. And I see him running around the stage going, oh, I go, you're gay now. You've become gay. Why are you gay?
He was a fucking knight. He was a knight. He was a knight. And now he's a jester.
Now he's gay.
He's a gay jester.
He's
Oh,
a fully gay man. When you watch the special, he's like, woo!
So Mark's main issue with this is that the weirdo alt comics have sort of been pushed to the side in recent times. And when Mark brings this point up to
Again, if
Bobby
you're
Lee,
funny, you're
he
funny.
actually
That's
gets him
fine.
to
But I
join
kind of
in
get
on
like their
trashing
point.
Austin
Like, you know, you don't have to have
comics, which
everything.
was just great to
Like,
see.
what the hell
That's
are
a
you? What's
problem.
So, and the bigger problem about what
you
you're
know,
saying,
South Park
yes, I think
made
we
fun
all
of,
still do exist, but the
the
nature
guy
of the
from
comedy
U2,
business is
hell's his name?
fragmented and some of
Lead
it's
singer.
tribalized. But there used to be a lot more
Like, take a
weirdos
back seat
around
sometimes, man.
who were kind of exciting and interesting and took it a different place. I would argue with just talky talk comedy, there's not that many people bringing it to a different place, dude.
Right. Well,
There
there is some good ones that, like, I think that kid Casey Rocket's really entertaining and fun and different and unique. I think they're there, right?
Yeah.
I think the problem is there's so much sludge. There's so much shit. There's way more noise than we've ever fucking seen.
Yeah.
So it's hard to appreciate or even care because all that's really being shown is kind of the constant, like, give it to him, give it to him, give it to him, give it to him. So I get.
I'm tired of the attitude.
I thought you were going to say violence in this country.
No. I'm tired. They come up back to L.A. One guy, I want to name his name. I go, oh, you seem like you're thriving. And he goes, I'm killing it.
Killing it.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, whoa, dude. You moved out because you couldn't survive here.
Yeah.
This is
shit.
different.
I'm going to get my ass kicked.
It's an animal.
Well, I think the weirdos you're referring to, by the way, were birthed, and I defend this to fucking we're birthed at the comedy.
Yeah.
And I think I always push. I was like, people don't know that about
run!
the store. They think they hear this like corporate bro, and that happens internally in LA a lot too, where they're like, the store is a fucking, you know, whatever, sellout factory of fucking bro comics. Because I
Not
think,
anymore.
No, but there was a wash of it that came through, and I think
Joe, they moved to Austin.
But
And real quick here, just based on the voice inflection that Bobby was doing there, I'm almost certain that he was talking about Tony Hinchcliffe. I think it's 100% something Tony would say, too.
Oh, you seem like you're thriving. And he goes, I'm killing it.
So yeah, just an all-around hilarious episode of Bad Friends that I
Oh,
highly
Jesus
suggest
Christ.
you go watch the entire
Badly
episode of.
damaged.
One
What the
thing
hell,
that this
man?
podcast was missing, though, was the larger, more political reasons that Mark Maron called out right-wing podcasters in his special for. But luckily for us, he actually explained it in detail in the Vulture podcast he did nearly 10 days ago, calling out Joe Rogan
There we
and
go.
Tony Hinchcliffe by name.
God, is
which,
Tony
even if you
Hinchcliffe
don't
wearing
agree with
lipstick?
anything Maron says, you
Yeah,
have
that's
to
what you wanted.
respect the fact that he calls them out by name here, as most comics are too afraid to seriously go after Joe Rogan in this sort of fashion. But anyways, in this podcast, Mark Maron explains that he's going after these guys because they essentially sided with Trump solely because he was more pro-speech than the other option. But now that he's in office and has acted on these policies, it's almost as if they're acting shocked that he's doing anything like that. I mean, just the other day, Andrew Schultz posted this screenshot.
I heard about this, but you don't break your word breaks you. What? You don't break your word breaks you. Trump promised to mandate IVF care. The White House says there's no plans to do so. Yeah. Again, he's a goddamn liar. Like, what do you expect? And the thing is, he just said, in the video, they voted for him because there's more free speech. That's never been true. Again, Trump constantly sued, like, people from, like, 30 years ago, like the guy, what the hell's his name? what the hell is the guy's name? The talk show host. Bill Maher. Bill Maher made a joke about his parentage, and Trump said he wanted to sue him, and that's what Trump does. He constantly tries to sue people and just basically tries to use lawfare to have people shut up, just to make people shut up. So Trump will basically just try to put pressure on them through the law to make, because, you know, actually going to court can be very, very expensive. So he just tries to use the system against normal people. So he's constantly sued people, people that, you know, that voted for Trump because he's freedom of speech. They just want to be able to say whatever they want without any consequences. That's basically all it is. They might say something really, really bad towards somebody, something racist, something misogynistic, something just incredibly hateful. And then when people get angry at them and try to call them out on it, they go, hey, it's freedom of speech. Yeah, it's freedom of speech. You said it. That's fine. You said it. But I'm going to yell at you for it. What the hell? And that's what they don't want. Okay, let's try to see if we can do this.
Got to his story reacting to the Trump administration not mandating IVF care. I mean, this sort of thing is happening every day in the Rogan verse at this point, and Mark touches on that in this Vulture podcast.
And, you know, Rogan and Hinchcliffe and, you know, just a lot of these people just locked into this anti-woke thing. But now, you know, the government, which is, for all practical, you know, good intents and purposes, is an authoritarian government, and we have a fairly dominant fascistic culture. Yeah. So they're using the same language, which is anti-woke, to dismantle all progressive institutions. Mm-hmm. And, you know, whether you like it or not, or whether that's not what you signed up for, you know, you tied yourself to that horse, right?
Yeah.
And you know, it's not even a matter of unforgivable. It just is what it is. So you can backpedal all you want.
Yeah.
But this is the reality.
You did it. And if people hate you for it, that's it. If you think it's the right thing to actually do now, then do it because it's the right thing. That's because you're going to get praise from people.
The policy now of using anti-woke to dismantle the liberal democratic state is something you didn't shut up about. Yeah, maybe it wasn't the same thing. Well, I just wanted to say so that's who I'm talking about. And look, you know, I think a lot of them were just like wanted to land on the side where they could earn a living. You know, it's challenging.
For years, Joe Rogan has acted like the small guy that the media likes to pile on top of, as if he was the victim, just because he wasn't allowed to make jokes about marginalized groups. But now that they've sort of won that small victory with Trump, they can't play the victim card anymore. Also, in this next clip, Mark plainly states again that whenever a Rogan guy makes a joke punching down at trans or gay people, or anything of that nature, that it's simply just hack. And it's only offensive because of how unfunny it is.
And in that thing, it's at a point now where it's like you don't have the victim position anymore. You have the dominant position. So why
you're not the underdog anymore? You guys won.
It's hackney.
Why do you keep acting
that? You know, you walk through a comedy club, or you go to some in certain cities, where it's like there's a prerequisite to do a trans joke. There's a prerequisite to do an R-word joke. There's a prerequisite to push the edge in a very non-risky way.
Yeah, to not push a boundary, but act like you are.
And act like you know your voice is somehow dangerous. There's nothing less dangerous. It's boring.
Yeah, to say what people want you to say is not.
No, Chigal, that isn't
it. Those particular people.
Yeah.
So pretty much for years, everyone thought that Mark Maron hated Joe Rogan and was just jealous of him. Because up until now, his critiques for Rogan were pretty surface level. Like he resented Rogan's athletic background, his overwhelming success, and had an ongoing podcast rivalry with him. Rogan was almost like the more popular version of Maron. And Maron actually confronted Joe on these very issues all the way back in 2011, which at the time felt as if Mark were simply just jealous of Joe.
You know, when I first saw you, I had this problem with guys who were, you know, athletically oriented or had some sort of athletic nature about them before they
Please.
came into comedy. And I remember that you and Kevin Flynn, he was like a
That's the
soccer
same one I
guy,
just.
Yeah.
and you were a kickboxing champion. And there was part of me that was like, this is not for them. This is not their world. Why are they here? Why don't they stay in their competitive world?
Well, that's silly.
Well, of course it's silly. But you were sort of a cocky fuck then, weren't you?
I don't know. I mean, first of all, if you're not around someone like that, and all of a sudden you're around some guy and you hear this guy's a martial arts champion, and now he's doing comedy.
Oh, it was totally
He's
different.
this fucking guy invading our spot and ruining our vibe.
In this podcast, Mark also admitted that he felt that Joe doing Fear Factor disqualified him from being a comedy authority, implying that doing a show so out of sync with thoughtful or serious comedy should have knocked Rogan off any moral or artistic high ground.
That your television career, not news radio particularly, but Fear Factor was antithetical to who you are now, and that I thought it was hard for me to accept that you were able to stand in a position of judgment of what comedy is or isn't, having done Fear Factor and the impact it had on the comedy business and television.
That's an interesting angle, and I gotta think that that angle's got to be coming from some weird animosity that you might have had to me already before this. Because first of all, I mean, how many sitcom writers are really comics? It's very few.
Well, they
And
all.
how many people
A lot
on?
of them started as comics. I'm just saying in comedy in general.
You can't
caused
say that that's taking away jobs, because it's an economic issue, and if I wasn't hosting it, someone else would have hosted it.
So after that 2011 interview, a lot of fans of the podcast came to the conclusion that Mark was just jealous of Joe. But now, fast forward to 2025, and it almost seems like Mark's criticisms of Joe
There might have been
are
jealousy,
becoming
yeah, at
more
the time.
valid by the day. And now, instead of having animosity or disdain for Joe, Mark labels it as reasonable criticism. So at the end of the day, whether you think Mark Maron is bitter or just finally saying what a lot of comics won't, his beef with Joe Rogan has taken a new level of depth. Like, it started as a personal rivalry, but now it's evolved into this broader cultural clash, with both these guys representing two very different versions of what comedy should be. But anyways, with that being said, that's pretty much it for the video. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank
Make
you,
sure to
American
like,
Redacted.
subscribe.
Thank you. Thank you, Mark Maron, also for calling it out and being much more eloquent with your words. Yeah, it's just... Oh, mushrooms. Thank you. All right, we're going to be finishing it up right there. It is midnight where I am right now. Again, as I said, got to wake up. Got to give the young one a bath before I leave tomorrow in the morning. Make sure he's taken care of. Set up his breakfast and lunch. Make sure he does his goddamn summer homework. Gotta just keep it going, keep it going. Goddamn. All right. Again, wherever you are, take care of yourselves and the ones that you love. Yeah. And again, please be careful with the water, where if you're going out swimming, again, a lot of people going into the sea, the oceans and stuff like that. Where I am at the moment, there's been a lot of accidents recently, and every year there's always an accident around water, and especially right now because it's getting so goddamn hot. A lot of kids might go into the rivers unsupervised. There was 2 children that passed away recently. They went into, I believe, a river or a lake, and they ended up going to. And again, it wasn't like, just simple. Just they didn't notice that part was deeper than they didn't notice there was a deeper area, and they ended up slipping to it, and they're gone. It's in Texas too. There was a huge flood, again caused by Elon Musk and those assholes and Trump. And a bunch of girls lost their lives, a bunch of kids, a lot of people still missing. And Trump's and them are just bitching about the stupidest stuff, and Jesus Christ, it never ends. Yeah, but if for yourself, yes, be careful with your family if you're going to be around water. And just be cautious. All right. Again, take care of yourselves once you love, and love to Palestine. All right. Good night.